It's like moving the chickens here, so. It's officially autumn on our homestead, and we have a lot to do before we get our first frost. We are about 2 weeks away from that, so we need to get a bunch of things harvested and a lot of areas of the garden cleaned up before that happens. So the first area we're starting on today is where we had our sweet corn. We're going to be pulling out all these stalks and feeding them to the pigs. And then we got to get the weeds cleared out of this area too.
Yeah, you should probably set them down somewhere.
Really muddy, huh?
Well, yeah, the dirt's sticking a little more because it's wet.
As we were harvesting some of the corn stalks and weeds, we realized that there is a volunteer watermelon plant in here that has some tiny watermelons and one decent sized watermelon. So we'll probably give the little watermelons to the pigs. At this point, this watermelon is not going to mature. The bigger one we'll harvest and see if it's edible and try and eat as much as we can. And if it's not good, we'll just give it to the pigs too. You want to help us with the corn?
Sure.
We've been at this for almost an hour. We're making good progress out here. There have been a few little hang-ups, and the main one being there are a lot of ants inside of these corn stalks, which shouldn't be a huge deal, but when you break a corn stalk and then the ants flood out all over your arm, it is a little bit scary. I'm not normally afraid of ants, but to have like thousands of ants crawl up my arm all at once, it is very uncomfortable. Oh, okay. Okay.
What'd you get?
This thing is filled with ants.
I've had them crawling over me the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the first one I got with a lot of ants.
Okay.
So it has not been the most fun experience out here trying to get this corn out. The weeds, thankfully, they're not too bad over here. It looks like more than it is. So the only problem areas of weeds are the edge of the garden. That's where we have Bermuda grass. And I may just leave that there right now and kind of let the chickens come in here and then pick at it as I get a chance. But I want to get the main area cleared today. And we've got this wheelbarrow full, so we're going to take one batch down to the pigs right now. Shouldn't be bad once you get it out.
Yeah.
Calling that.
Yeah, we'll have them on the tractor like that.
Yeah, they're liking that.
Yeah.
They're getting big. How much longer do they have?
Well, January. We just finished throwing the first load of corn stalks to the pigs. They're loving it. So we're gonna go up and get the second load of what's left in the garden and bring that down to them too. You wanna ride it?
We got the rest of the corn pulled out. It's all on the garden cart, so Cam's gonna take that down. I am staying here to finish weeding everything in preparation for moving the chickens to this area.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna haul this down to the pigs. Let's head back.
even though we have enough projects here on the homestead to keep us busy all day, every day, we also spend days in town running errands, and my go-to shoes on those days are Vessi's weekend sneakers. I also pair them with Vessi's soft, moisture-wicking socks, and it's easy to slip on the sneakers and go. They're so versatile, they can handle every activity like sporting events for the kids, hikes, and trips to the farm store and the hardware store. My favorite part about Vessi's is that they can handle dew, wet rainy days, and puddles thanks to their waterproof Dymatex technology. Even though they're waterproof, they're also light and breathable. I've been wearing the Weekend Chelsea boot on cold mornings here on the homestead, and they are so comfortable, functional, and easy to clean. Vessi's weekend sneakers are waterproof, comfy, and stylish. They are my favorite everyday sneakers. Shop now at vessi.com/seasonal homestead and get 15% off your first pair, covered with a 1-year warranty and 30-day returns. Okay. It was not supposed to rain yesterday, and it ended up raining almost the entire day. So we got rained out, and we didn't finish everything that we wanted to finish outside. So I need to finish weeding out here, and
there's an overhead sprinkler line in this area that I will be taking out so the chickens don't peck at it, and we'll repurpose it somewhere else anyways.
We need to take down the chicken fence over where the chickens are currently, move their tractor over here, then move the fence here, set everything up. Right next to where we had the sweet corn planted, we also had an area of cover crops and muscadine grapes through there. We planted those cover crops early in the spring. They grew up, and then we mowed them down. Some of those cover crops had already gone to seed, like the mustard, and so when we mowed them, they popped right back up, which I thought was cool. So I let them grow, but there was also a lot of weeds growing in there too, so now that they're all mature and stuff, we really need to get those mowed down. So Cam's gonna take the flail mower and go through there and get rid of all that stuff.
We got this area all prepped and ready. It's time to move chickens and their fence. Okay. Yeah? That good? Good. Corner is like right here?
Like an outside corner would be best. Yeah.
Right here, okay.
Yeah, because I want them to get all of these weeds on the edges too.
Yeah.
Cam was asking me earlier if we could just put these two electric fences together, and we are not doing that just because I'm still trying to protect the corn that's here. This is dent corn, so we're waiting for that to dry out, trying to keep it away from the raccoons, and the chickens would happily eat that corn, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but we would like to save some just to eat too. So that's why we have the double fences here, is because we still need to protect the corn. The fence is up now. I'm going to let out the chickens. They're going to be very happy to have a new space to dig around in. They are ready. A couple days ago, we did our first big harvest of pickling cucumbers. I knew when they were ready to harvest, there was going to be a lot to harvest, and that proved to be true.
Come here, buddy.
Nice job! Look at all those cucumbers you've got.
Yeah!
Yeah, you did it!
Yeah, you're right. They hide real good. Got a few more.
Yeah. You filled that bucket. I need to get these cucumbers preserved as soon as possible, and because I don't have a ton of time today, I'm going to ferment the cucumbers and make them into pickles, just regular dill pickles, nothing fancy. We have made them before several years ago, and we've also made cucumber kimchi. That is something we really enjoy. So we usually make a couple jars of that every single year. One of the things I've noticed when we ferment cucumbers is that for the first month or two, the cucumbers are nice and firm and delicious. And then as time goes on, they slowly get softer and mushier and not very palatable. So I'm hoping with the addition of grape leaves to the ferment, that will help increase the crispiness of these pickles that I'm making. I will say also I could do better at preserving them the same day. We are not in the same day of harvest here, so they're gonna be just slightly softer because of that. I added about 12 cloves of garlic into this crock, and now I'm filling it with the cucumbers, and then I will pour over some of the brine. I did 3/4 of a cup of salt to 1 gallon of water for this. And then I'm also going to put in some spices and herbs like mustard seed, and then I'll put in some dill and dill seeds, stuff like that. We have 100 chicks coming in the mail next week, and these are our meat birds. They're freedom rangers. Some people like to raise them in the summer. We like to raise them in the fall going into winter. For where we live, it's just a better time of year. So we have some work to do to get ready for them coming.
That's where I come in. I've rounded up the brooder boxes that we used last year, or what's left of them. We basically have enough right now to make 1 brooder box, and we need 2. So I got some more wood to make another one, so I'm gonna do that and line these up, and then I'll cut both of them at the same time. 48, that's half, and then I'm going 1.5 inches more, because this is where I need to line up my guide rail for my miter saw. I just know that because I've used it enough. So now let me clamp that, and then I'll start cutting. Cool? Cool. You don't have to say cool. So I have 2 plywood sheets here that are 1/2 inch, and what I'm gonna do is the first one I'm gonna cut in half. So the 4x4 halves are gonna make the floors of these brooder boxes. And then with the other piece, I'm going to cut that into quarters, and those 4 quarters will become the walls, and in no time at all, we're going to have 2 chicken brooder boxes. 2 chicken brooder boxes. Yeah, you got it. It's good. It's a little rusty. Not you, the tool is. You're a really good clamper. Okay, there's the 4 sides. So I've got the main cuts done, and here's 2 of the old boards. These grooves, what I need to make now, this is a 1/2 inch wide groove that runs halfway down the board. I gotta make those so they can puzzle together, basically like this. And then when you have 4 of those together, it makes a pretty sturdy thing. So that's that. Now for the next one. I'm just gonna drill right here, and then that'll just kind of cut them off. Oh, that works good. That side's done. Grooves are, you guessed it, halfway done. Now I just got to do this side, and then we'll be able to assemble the walls together. Now we're gonna dry fit it. Good. Okay. Here, you hold that up there. We'll go like this. Oh, that's cool. And then this one. Come on, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
Look at that. Now we need to quickly secure the walls to the floor, just with a couple tap screws so that we can get this off of the sawhorse and put together the lids, or the tops, whatever you want to call them. Ready, go. Okay, cool. Okay, I gotta go grab some hardware mesh. I hate getting poked by hardware mesh, so I'm gonna try something to hide all the exposed edges that just poke and tear and ruin my nice skin. So let me go get this hardware mesh. I think it's over here by the wood pile. What I'm gonna do is cut with the table saw, cut a groove right down the middle of each one of these that's like maybe an inch deep, and then I'll hopefully be able to slide that hardware mesh in there, secure it, and then kind of like you do with a cabinet door, like you have that inset piece, and hopefully that works, and then there will be no exposed sharp edges of that hardware mesh. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Wait, is there already a chicken in there? Oh, you're in there. How's that for amazing? Because the hardware mesh will just all be enclosed. I can't overlap any of these. It's too tough to get in there. So I'm just gonna cut it, and I'll do a strip that kind of joins those two and covers them. And that is what will work. There we go. What a great door with no pokies. Okay, perfect. Finishing touches. I got to put some hinges on, and then like a door lock. Yeah, let's go like that. Might need you to hold this. Okay, yep, just like right there. Okay, I love you. Fold it down and see if it goes. See if it's like straight, you know?
Yeah, it looks fine.
Maybe I should have been out so I could look at it. That was fun. Okay.
It's super important to us to have the brooder boxes outside with the chicks in them. You know, it's common to have chicks inside, like in a basement or in a garage. We learned the hard way that chicks need to stay outside. So luckily, we were already having our chicks outside. By the time we moved up here, Cam was very adamant. The chicks need to be outside at all times. And there was one year he was especially adamant about this. And I was thinking, let's just put them in the garage or do something like that. And he was like, no, they are going outside. And I was like, okay, they are going outside. So we put them under the roof of our firewood shed, and it was a good spot for them. That year I was pregnant with Riggs, and we had our friends watch the chicks the day that I went to the hospital. And the next day, our neighbor and friend called us in tears.
Yeah.
Because it was so
traumatic for
her. It was a little bit traumatic just being in the hospital with this happening. So one of the heat lamps, it was missing the protective wire cover, and it had fallen in the night, and this whole area went up in flames. All of the boxes burned.
Yeah.
And most of the chicks burned, with the exception of like 1 or 2 boxes, which is why we started out with 4 boxes and now we only have 1 left. So we had to build another. So it was super scary, super traumatic. And I was really grateful that Cam had that divine inspiration that the chicks needed to be outside. So I tell that story so that it doesn't happen to anybody else. Those heat lamps are so dangerous. We now use the heat plates instead. And I would highly recommend keeping your chicks outside if possible.
Yeah. So we're done with this brooder box. When we get chicks, we will lay this with pine shavings and then chicks will go in here. I threw these hinges on. It's a must to have a closing door that latches to protect the chicks from jumping out if your pine shavings are tall enough. And then also to keep critters like raccoons from getting in, because baby chickens are an easy target for predators, especially around here. We'll have their water and food, and then a plug-in heat plate that we can either solar power, or we have a plug 10 feet from here that we can access power to make sure that that's going. I love the slat system because it's easy to put together, and then when we store this after the chicks have grown, it's super easy to disassemble and flat pack and store in the barn until next year. Come join me, Becky. There's room for two. No. No.